summer night. Stars in the summer night. Stars in the summer night, 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 night. Stars in the summer night. Stars in the summer night. Stars in the summer night.
I feel football, business moves fast. And when you need funding, there's no time to wait. At Fleximize, we keep things simple. No penalties, no red cards, just fast, flexible business loans. We only ask for the essentials and you'll get a decision within 24 hours. Once approved, the funds are in your account the same day. Fleximize, let's fund your goals.
Welcome to Friday night under the lights here at Portman Road as Ipswich Town hosts Sheffield United here in the Championship. The transfer window is shut, the squads are set, and all attention now on Ipswich Town versus Sheffield United here in the Championship as Town look to get back to winning ways. This historic fixture happening for the first time here at Portman Road since 2018. Can Ipswich Town get the win? We're going to find out. Welcome to Town TV. Hello Town fans and welcome back to our Matchday Preview live show, streaming live on X, YouTube and Town TV, proudly brought to you by the club's headline digital partner Fleximize, the UK's award-winning lender offering fast, flexible business loans. Well, after a short break from Championship football for the international fixtures, it's Friday night under the lights at Portman Road as Ipswich Town take on the Blades, and we've got a big show to help set the scene. We'll be bringing you all the build-up live from the studio with our special guests sharing their thoughts on the season so far, the busy transfer window, the latest team news, and a chat with Town TV's commentator, Glenn Wheeler. This and loads coming up on today's show. Ignore the beautiful sunset in the background. We promised it was raining earlier, and that's why we relocated to the studio with our two great guests. Welcome to Skuse and to James Scowcroft. We're in the dry, but listen, it's always great to be here in the Town TV studio. Welcome back to both of you.
Thank you very much. I was absolutely delighted when the text message come through at about 4:30 from Jess to say that you're indoors, don't panic, you don't have to bring your umbrella. And now we've almost missed a trick. We could be outside next to the beautiful pitch.
Yeah, great to have you back as well, James, and in the dry, and looking forward to another great match here at Portman Road.
Yeah, hopefully, yeah. I've got to say, I think this is the best seat in the house. Is it 2 years old? This is an absolutely fantastic view. So, no, really looking forward to tonight.
Dressed for the occasion today as well, Cole. We've got the old suit and tie and shirt out.
Yeah, I can only apologise to Sco. I forgot to message him to say. No, it's very much a case of I got here nice and early, bumped into Milts. He's had me dragged around a few lounges, and I've done a few little talks and questionnaires with Milts, and then very lucky to come up here and join you guys in the studio this evening. It's
a pleasure to have you here, and there's always a special feeling, isn't there, about a Friday night fixture, especially a night fixture as well, and there's just a little bit of magic in the air, I feel, isn't there?
You think so? You look at it, you know, the pitch is absolutely immaculate, big crowd, and I think, you know, over the last few years as well, going back probably to your time, my time as well, that, you know, it's quite a good fixture this. Ipswich, Sheffield United has always been, you know, two really good teams going for promotion. You know, Sheffield United have been up, we've been up as well. So, no, it should be a really good game. Really, really good.
Bit of history between the two clubs as well, because of course they beat us in the playoffs some years ago, didn't they? But we won't worry too much about that tonight. Right, it's been a couple of weeks pretty much since Ipswich Town last played. Of course, it was that dramatic match against Derby County. We say dramatic because there was, of course, that 106th minute equaliser that Ipswich Town got to secure the draw. Let's remind ourselves of that match now.
Ipswich Town hosts Derby County today in IP1 as Young delivers in the corner kick, and Jacob Greaves is there to head home. Jacob Greaves on the score sheet with the opening goal. It has been coming. Chapman finds him. Here is Ashley Young. Young should have hit it, and it did take the veteran. Strong getting the decision that time. Payusa again with a lovely flick into Chapman. Chapman trying to find Philogene. Philogene inside the penalty area. Into the side, Dedsey. Elder on the left as this ball is played forward to Rhian Brewster. Flagger stayed down. Brewster up against Palmer. And then the recovery challenge from Davis. Appeals here. And handball. Morris starts his run up now. And sends Palmer the wrong way. Here is Cayusta. Matasiwa. Too strong for Ebu Adams. Matasiwa into Hurst. Hurst inside the penalty area. Hurst goes down. And Hurst is going to be booked for diving. The opening goal for the Swans, 1-0. Jayden Philogene flipping this one in towards Daroshay, and Hurst inside the 6-yard box, free header, headed straight at Jakob Zetterstrom. What a chance for Town's number 9. Ball gets away from Daroshay, and now Brewster advancing towards the penalty area. It's Rhian Brewster. He has shocked it to his town. Really until after that international break, but that league side settled in and once again 90 points. Young with the delivery. Decent one towards Amon. It's high into the sky. Only as far as Clark, and the effort is blocked. Young left-footed ball towards Amon. Amon underneath it. Sanderson defending. Taylor inside the box. Taylor goes down. Penalty. Out of net. Taylor got a nick on it. Jack Clark up against Jakob Zetterstrom. It's Clark. It's into the corner. Fired high into the net. Ipswich are level. A late equaliser. Jack Clark.
Ipswich Town 2, Derby County 2, and I think it's fair to say it's quite a lot to unpack from that match. We're not going to go into a massive amount of details because obviously we are building up to the Sheffield United match tonight. Quite a few talking points about penalties. George Hurst probably should have had a penalty. What did you guys make of that? What were your sort of main talking points of the match?
I think it was a penalty, and I think if you look at the game, and maybe this has been a pattern of the season so far, is right on a stroke of half-time, you get that, you score, you go in 1-0. In all games, especially I think the Championship, the first goal is crucial. So, yeah, that's something that went against us and probably affected the game as well.
Listen, matches often will rest on moments like that, won't they? There was the Smodics inside of the post against Southampton. If that one goes in, arguably could have been a different result. Did you kind of feel, perhaps, Cole, that was one of those matches where Town were perhaps a little bit unlucky not to get a win?
I would say so. If you look at the swings within the games and the momentum they had within games, it's almost self-inflicted in a sense. That's when you have to capitalise. I know it's easier said than done. We're sat up here and we're not crossing the white line, sort of converting those chances, so to speak. But games are swung on small little incidents. It could be the penalty appeal, like I said, on the stroke of half-time, where that's a big momentum swing. And then you also have, like you said, Sammy's chance that comes off the inside the post, all those little bits. I'm very much a case and an advocate for it does have a balance. People will say, well, can you predict a balance throughout the season? But I think it will. And Sco's already touched on it. This is a really, really big game for both parties this evening. Really big game. Transfer window's done. They've had a solid block, a good couple of weeks. Albeit there's been, from both squads, lads away on international duty. So you're hoping and praying that they've come back fresh with no knocks, no niggles. But it's really big for both in the sense that this is almost, we part the first little bit, had a good block. This is where your season ultimately starts because it's quite a swing already. If you look at the top end of the table to now, it's a bit of a gulf.
There's been comparisons with Leeds and the Championship season, obviously, when Ipswich went up. They had a slow start then, and I think they had a slow start last season as well. And you know, slow starts don't necessarily determine the rest of the season. And actually, not that it's really been a slow start. Obviously, it's have lost one game. They've drawn the other three, and they've been tough fixtures. Birmingham away, Southampton obviously at home, Preston away. It's a bit of a bogey team for us, isn't it? I think now, as Cole rightly says there, it's all focused on this fixture. And let's remind ourselves, Sheffield United come into this match on the back of 4 straight defeats.
They do, yeah, and that's considering they were probably a kick away from being a Premier League team last year. That's the swings that can go in football. I think we have to look at the bigger picture because you look at last season, 100 points is what you need to get promoted.
Crazy.
So on that, it's you do need consistency. You need to get going, and I think there's 5 games now until the next block. After that, that's 20% of the season done. So we need a little bit. We need a result tonight, and then it takes us on to the next game. Momentum's huge, and I think if we can make this the sort of the game where fine margins are probably just gone against us, but if you go over that line, and I think all of a sudden things will start to turn and results will turn as well.
And listen, Jack Clark, cool as a cucumber, converting that penalty, and meaning we went into the international break not with a defeat, with a draw. I think that was quite important, wasn't it? We mentioned, obviously, it is Sheffield United at home this evening, and it's been a while since Ipswich Town have hosted Sheffield United. In fact, the last time the two teams played each other here at Portman Road was back in 2018. Let's remind ourselves of that match. The last time Ipswich Town played Sheffield United here at Portman Road back in 2018, and Ipswich Town missing a massive player that evening. A certain Cole Skuse was injured for that game. But listen, watching that back, times have changed, haven't they? I mean, just looking at the Portman Road pitch, the stadium, I know this has all happened quite quickly, hasn't it? But that's like looking back on some of those 70s and 80s videos that you sometimes see. It's like going back in time. It was only 6 years ago.
I don't know how to take that, to be honest.
sorry,
You certainly could have got a ticket back then as well. But it has, and it's all for the good, obviously. And it wasn't for want of trying back then. We were forever asking for various bits to be improved, but for whatever reason it didn't materialise. Whereas now you look at the players, like Scully said earlier, you look over your shoulder, it's almost night and day, and it's incredibly positive because it's had a ripple effect across the whole town. It really has. You trying to get a ticket here for Friday night under lights this evening would have been incredibly tough. Whereas then you could almost
sit where you want,
essentially.
Yeah. Times have changed for the better, haven't they? And listen, these are two big clubs, both of which have been recently in the Premier League. As you mentioned,
Yep.
Sheffield United arguably a kick away from returning to Premier League football. They've had a few struggles at the beginning of this season. Obviously, Chris Wilder replaced by Ruben Sellers. I mean, a new manager can sometimes bring a bounce with it, and also it can have the opposite effect. How much would you put their struggles down to the change in management?
Well, I think certainly that's, a big, he's a sort of an icon at Sheffield United, isn't he? Chris Wilder, he's been there so long, everyone loves him. And I think the disappointment of not getting up last year, where they looked like they had it in his own hands, and they lost it, and then they lose the playoff final to a late goal. I think you come back naturally dejected a little bit. It's almost sort of worse than a relegation, really. So, and that's taken time, and they've got a complete new manager, new style of play, and you can see by results that hasn't got going yet. You hope that that's the case tonight as well, that it hasn't got going. But if you go through the starting 11 and the bench as well, they're quite a strong outfit. They know this league very, very well.
They certainly do. And you mentioned there about obviously bringing in a few new signings. Obviously, Ipswich have done the same. We've brought in 11 new players. We'll go into those signings in a few moments' time. But it does take time, doesn't it, for new players to bed in? And I mean, Sheffield United are a good side. There's no doubt about it. There's good players in that team, and it could be a tough match for Ipswich tonight, I think, couldn't it? It's not going to be an easy, let's knock 3 or 4 past them necessarily. It's going to be a tough, scrappy game, possibly.
Of course, by no means do you go into a game with any easy fixture. There isn't. But you do, like Scully's again, he's touched on the depths of both squads. You're incredibly deep and strong from both squads. Whereas I think the international break, like I said earlier, you've almost blocked the first little bit. You've had a good, solid couple of weeks, and I've never been as a coach in this situation, but it's almost striking a really good balance of how much you give them their time off, which they need. You do need it because it's thick and fast in the Championship, and how much you do have a huge emphasis on. Right, this is really, really big for us. We've made an awful lot of change. You hear the word transition. This cannot be a transitional period for the club. It cannot be. Mm-hmm. They have to bounce back and keep a sort of momentum that they've got, and they have got it. It's like I said, it's in the club's growth over the last few years has been incredible. Mm. You need to stick with that and keep that. So it's a really important couple of weeks. It really was, and you're hoping that it's sort of represented this evening with a really good performance and a positive result.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Right, a slight change in pace as we head over to the fan zone now. Simply asking the question, who ate all the pies? Who ate all the pies? You Vant Pasty, you Vant Pasty, you ate all the pies.
Tingling Ted makes your tongue tingle. We're back in the fan zone. It's Ipswich Town versus Sheffield United, and it's under the lights. We've got the new exclusive Tingling Ted pie, and we've got 3 die-hard Town fans. What are your names, please, lads?
Reese.
Harry. Ollie. And they are going to be doing the taste test for the Tingling Ted pie. Here we go, guys. Take a slice of pie.
Oh, it's in 3s, look.
It's in 3s. We've got it all ready for you.
Can we get it up nice
you
and
can
easy?
Get it out.
We can indeed.
Look,
Look,
there we go. Superb. Look at the meat oozing out of that. Come on. Right then, guys. Let's do it. Let's do a taste test. 3, 2, 1.
Oh, it's lovely.
Yeah?
Yeah?
There you go.
Out
Looks like you're enjoying that. I'll get a score prediction off you, but you guys are enjoying it too much. They're in the concourse. You can get yourself a new Tingling Ted pie. We've got the sauces there as well. What a time to be a Blue. Look at that. Okay, so it wouldn't be a Dave Vant feature from the fan zone if I didn't run around like a headless chicken getting score predictions. Will, follow me. We're back onto the lights. Let's get some score predictions. Right, we'll go over here first. What's the score going to be, guys?
1-0 Town.
1-0 Town.
I'm going optimistic 3-0.
3-0. We love to hear it. We're going over this way. Score predictions, please.
1-0 Ipswich.
1-0 Town.
2 Ipswich.
2 Ipswich. We're going over this way, little man. What's the score going to be this evening?
2-0.
2-0 to the Super Blues. We love to hear it. Let's go over this way now. We'll can't keep up, mate. Here we go. Score predictions, please, ladies. Scores for tonight.
3-0.
3-0. We love that.
2-1.
2-1. You've heard it here first. What a time to be a Blue. We're back onto the lights at Portman Road. James, back to you in the studio. Upper Town.
Dave Vance certainly gets his steps in running around that fan zone, doesn't he? Pi TFC fan zone reporter Dave Vance. We have got all the puns here on Town TV this evening. Right, time for something a little bit new. We welcome to the studio for the first time Ipswich Town commentator, the voice of Ipswich Town, Glenn Wheeler. Welcome to Town TV.
Yeah, you said you were going to say that. Not used to being this side of the camera. Nice to be here.
Something wonderful that's happened for you over the past few years. You walk into Ipswich Town and you'll see quotes all around the ground. We've all seen it. This is this man's words that are printed now, etched on the very stadium itself. When you walk in and you see that, how does that feel?
Yeah, it's pretty surreal, to be honest. I catch the train every day to work, so I pass those quotes, and it is very odd. I mean, it's been a wonderful journey, isn't it? Being part of the football club for the past 3 years now has been amazing, an absolute privilege, and it's just a case of trying to, bring what's going on out there to life for the fans, and hopefully, it's been nice to be part of that journey with them.
I listened to your commentating before having the honour of working for the club, and I actually thought to myself, I can't wait to meet Glenn Wheeler, because honestly, you've brought a real sort of fresh breath of fresh air to the commentary. So it's been a joy working alongside you. And of course, you've been there for some such big moments:
yep.
The League One promotion, a Championship promotion, first Premier League games in so long. What have been standout moments for you? Because I'm sure there's a long list of them.
There is a long list. Could be here for a while. No, in terms of very quickly, both promotions were very special days. Certainly the Huddersfield one was amazing. But in terms of standout games, kind of in isolation, I think Barnsley away was amazing. I remember that wall away to mine and Tommy Miller's left-hand side.
The Blue Army chant.
The Blue Army chant and the Hurst goal. And then, of course, it's 2! And then the Sarmiento, that Sarmiento winner here, 90+7, I think that will just live long in the memory.
Most people associated with the football club will mention that Sarmiento goal, apart from perhaps Adam Tanner, who left 5 minutes early and missed it. But everyone else will probably mention that. And you've worked with quite a few legends in the commentary box as well. Who has been your favourite co-commentator, and why isn't it Ian Westlake?
Yeah, I've got to say, Ian, because I'm on with him this evening. No, everyone's been brilliant. I mean, the knowledge that the current pros that I worked with, certainly during the League One season, and the ex-pros, I mean, Cole, we've done a game or two together as well. Everyone brings a different style, a different pace, different insight. So that can't really have favourites, can I? I mean, obviously, Westy, we've got a terrific friendship that's kind of arose from, seeing each other every week.
And
pretty
that
much.
openness and that honesty that you feel like you get from Westy in the commentary box, that's just what he's like, isn't he? Like, he's just that kind of just character. I think,
he tries to catch me out every game. Usually ask about how tall's this guy, Glenn, or what stats have you got on him? And I'm like, yeah, thanks, mate. Let me just fire up the laptop and I'll try and do that. He's always trying to catch me out, but he's so knowledgeable and just a natural at it. And I think it's so. He sent me a clip actually of Gary Neville this week saying co-commentary is the hardest thing to do. I think he was hoping for a bit of praise himself, but it's true. He's got a really tough job, and he'd never done it, anything like it till 3 years ago. And he's grown into it as well, so it's great to work with him.
You're very humble as well. I think commentating is probably just as hard, if not harder. How does a preparation for a match day work for you then? We often see the great John Motson, the great Murray Walker. You've seen sort of the way that they. How does the great Glenn Wheeler prepare for commentary?
Late nights. Obviously, I've got a day job Monday to Friday, so I get back from that about 6:30, and then late nights, maybe listening to 5 Live or whatever commentary's on. And then a great tip, Conor McNamara actually spoke about it a few years ago. I picked up labels. I just have every player on a label, stick them in formation before each game. They're my notes, and then some stats and colour coding. I mean, I'm all about colours. I'm very visual in terms of that. But But
the way your mind works.
Yeah, pretty much.
And one thing actually I noticed about you was you're pretty good at predicting matches as well. Like I remember I saw you before the Southampton game, and I was like, "What's your feeling for this one?" And you're like, "It's going to be a high-scoring game, this one." And obviously that was the case. It was a 5-goal thriller. What are you feeling about tonight? Be honest, by the way. If everyone always predicts a win, it's not always the case. We try to be positive, but what are you feeling?
Yeah, I think it's interesting, isn't it? You look at both sides neither win. I mean, certainly Ipswich, I back Ipswich. I think I look at the squad and I think, there's a lot of excitement about the signings. Chuba Akpom's one, starting in the 10, great excitement when he came in August, because there was so much drama in the transfer window and football got back. We almost forgot about him. He's made a couple of substitute appearances. That's a strong Ipswich side, no doubt. It's a strong Sheffield United side. But they're under pressure. It's not clicking for them. It's a different style of play. I think Ruben Sayers is asking them to play. And we know how good a coach Kieran McKenna is. So 2 weeks with the majority of that group, I think an Ipswich win. I think it will hopefully be more of a watchable affair than the Derby and the Preston contests. So hopefully there'll be goals. Say 3-1 Ipswich?
3-1 Ipswich. Okay, interesting. Whilst we're on predictions, do you two want to jump in and we'll just go early with the predictions, shall we, today?
Okay, 2-0 Ipswich.
2-0 Ipswich.
2-1.
2-1. We have never so much as had a draw predicted in the Town TV studio, which I love, by the way. The positivity is here. Glenn, it's been a pleasure talking to you. Hopefully we do this again very soon. From the voice of Ipswich Town to the club's leadership, Mark Ashton and Kieran McKenna earlier this week spoke to Matt Holland to talk a little bit about some of the goings-on behind the scenes at Ipswich Town Football Club.
For sure, there's been a lot of change both ways. Some situations probably beyond what could have been predicted, but there's also, again, I say a really good group there now, a really good squad, some really good players and people have come into the club, and now it's about us as a manager, as staff, as supporters, I think, as everybody, getting right behind those players, pushing those players to get the very best out of them and make sure that we can try and, as I've said quite a few times, build another great team and those players can push on and also have great times and great careers at the club. So there's a lot to get to grips with, but again, it is what it is. That's the challenge ahead of us. It's one that we're working really, really hard at. It's one that we plan to continue to really tackle head on, and I really believe we'll see the fruits of the labours. I can already see some of it, but I really believe we'll see the fruits of that labour in the weeks and months ahead.
Jason Schechterly will be over again shortly to meet all the new players, embed them into the foundation and the values that we have at the football club. But we've got some really good people, and Kieran's just said it's not just the players, it's the staff. We are still rebuilding this football club, and we'll be relentless on how we move forward. But the culture is very based on togetherness, doing the right thing when no one's looking. And again, I genuinely believe we have recruited some exceptionally talented players over this transfer window, and Kieran just needs a little bit of time to mould them together.
That's the challenge. We need to go through these things. We need to go through them together. We need to fight with everything we got to come out the other side of them, to build these experiences in the players in the group, and that's a big part of how we'll try and build another big team here.
The minute you lose unity and togetherness, whether you're inside the club or as a fan base, a supporter, the minute you lose that unity, you wave goodbye to any future success. Without fail. Togetherness is key. It's going to take a little bit of time.
Kieran McKenna and Mark Ashton talking to Town legend Matt Holland. And Mark Ashton is just fantastic at rallying the troops. He is, honestly, the definition of a great public speaker. And it just makes you feel good listening to those two, doesn't it? It makes you feel motivated, and the positivity is very much still there with those two.
Yeah, I think every supporter wants to know what's going on in their football club. The hardcore fan base here every day want news about Ipswich Town, and they're lucky in today's age because 24 hours a day you can get it. So, but to speak to the two main men at the club and hear what they're saying and their thoughts and everything, I think as a club they're very lucky, because it doesn't happen at every club.
No, it doesn't, and it didn't happen at this club with the previous ownership, obviously one that you will have played under. So we've kind of gone from one extreme to the next, and I think the fans are loving just the openness with the club at the moment. And also, they talked then about the the business and the international side of things as well. Clubs sort of looked overseas to bring players in. How important do you think that's been, Cole? Is it important to look overseas in this day and age?
It is important due to the sort of inflation of the market, I guess. You're looking to unearth that gem, and you look at the ones that they brought in over previous years, and like, with the utmost respect, Jens Scowcroft, Scully would be different. The amount of football this guy watches and the knowledge that he has is alarming, really. His knowledge is beyond belief, but not many people would have heard an awful lot about him. He's come in and been a revelation to the point where he was an unbelievable sign. The coup to get him back was brilliant.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. So you're hoping that it stays that way and you keep finding those ones that will come in and enhance the football club and enhance you as a group. And it ultimately, going back to your original, but it's massive, it's huge, it's really important.
It really is. There were obviously quite a lot of players coming and going from the club. Let's take a look now at a sort of list of those players, some of the ins and the outs. I mean, we don't need to talk necessarily about the players that have left, but players that have come in. I mean, we mentioned Jens there, Chuba Akpom, obviously, we spoke a little bit about him. Wale Egley is a player I think we're all very excited about. He had a good international break, got a couple of assists and a goal for the Norway under-21s earlier in the week. On the bench today, unsurprisingly, he's just come back from international duty, but there's some really exciting players and players that are going to push on and be starting games for sure.
Yeah, definitely. I think if you look back to 12 months ago, probably if we had our time again and if we get promoted this year, to go and buy foreign players, it's the only way. You have to do it because English and UK players are just too expensive, too pricey. So signed some very good players there. Jens Scowcroft, I spent 3 years watching Jens before he came here, so I know him very, very well. The lad that's come from Norway, probably people might be tipping him, is he the next Erling Haaland? Is that kind of... and the background, the background, he's had a really good international break as well. He's scored some goals for Norway under-21s, but it's a big jump from where he's come from. But there are some, Chuba Akpom as well. He's been around. He's in France last year. He's come from Ajax, and he knows the Championship very well as well. And then you've got people like Casey McAteer, who you signed from your rivals, Leicester. He was a stalwart coming through their academy as well. So I think it'll be interesting. It will take time to. I think the big thing about all of it is for Kieran to find his best 11. But we have got the best squad in the league. Make no bones about that. We've got certainly a better team than Sheffield United, and we've got to win games of football.
Yeah, we certainly do. And actually, just mentioning something we spoke about before we went on air, Mata Siwa and Jens played together, didn't they? They've got some experience together, so actually already a partnership there.
They played in France at a club called Stade Reims, which is a really nice club just outside Paris. So they've spent probably 50, 60 games playing together, so they know each other very well. So that'll be a partnership that doesn't need any introduction. It'll be really interesting. I think Jens last year caught everyone's eye, and hopefully the others will as well.
Yeah, and signing, as you mentioned there, signing players from your rivals, obviously McAteer and Nunez as well from Norwich, and we're really looking forward to seeing what he can do. Obviously the derby not too far away as well. I mean, signing players from overseas is always exciting. Signing players from your rivals makes a bit of a statement as well, I think.
Huge statement. I'm sure he'll get a really, really warm welcome from the Norwich fans. I'm sure he will. But it is a statement. It really is. It's a statement of power. It certainly is. But I can only echo what Scully said. You look at the depth again of the squad. It is by quite a distance, and there's a little bit of disparity, I think, between them and the rest of the league in terms of depth and the strength of their squad. It's a really, really strong squad.
Do you think at one point, hopefully it is tonight, we'll just see a click and the beautiful football will ensue and the goals will flow and the shots of target will come? Or is it a slow process? Is it tonight you just take a scrappy 1-0 win, or are you looking for a real performance tonight?
This is a championship. It's a very, very tough league, and when tough, it's very demanding. And there's pressure on Ipswich, which I don't think there was 2 years ago, 18 months ago. I don't think they had that pressure now. I think the first thing is all about winning. So they need to find out winning. How they win, it's irrelevant. And then the style and the technique and how Kieran wants them to play will come second.
Yeah, and listen, lots to get excited about. Sort of away from the men's team, the women's team play their WSL2 home fixture, the first one of the season this weekend. An exciting time for them as well, isn't it?
Again, I've been fortunate enough to work with a few of the girls prior to them stepping into the first team setting. a really, really good group. It's going to be a big transition because they've been in the league they've just come out of for an awfully long time. So to step into now, which is a well-funded league, again, groups within that league that have got a lot of depth. You look at Southampton, opening game of the season, really, really strong club. It's going to be different. It's going to be a challenge, something that Joe will want to face. He's that way. His detail as such as a coach, he'll prep the girls the best he can. But again, his signings that he's made and managed to attract the calibre of player that he's attracted to the club is a big statement. The signings they've made, you're talking about signings from Arsenal, the big fish within the WSL, he's signing players from those. So again, it's going to take a little bit of time because there's a little bit of transition in the club and the squad. But knowing Joe as I know Joe, he will get it right at some point.
Yeah, that certainly is the case. They are up against Nottingham Forest, 2 p.m. kickoff on Sunday at the JobServe Community Stadium. Tickets are £5 and you can still purchase tickets from tickets.itfc.co.uk and make sure to turn up to show your support to the Ipswich Town women. Right, I think it's probably a good time to take a look at the starting lineup, isn't it? It's been out for a little bit of time now. We can delve into it in a little bit more detail now with James and Cole. I'm quite looking forward to sort of seeing this starting lineup. We've spoken a little bit about it, haven't we? And we are going to get that starting lineup up on the screen. Now there it is. No surprises to see Palmer in goal. Leaf, Matasiwa, Hurst, Philogene, Jens, Furlong making his debut, McAteer, Greaves, O'Shea and Akpom making his first start for Ipswich Town. Let's pick this apart and what do you guys think of that? There's a little bit of consistency there. There's a few names you'd expect to see, but also it's good to see Kieran starting to integrate some of those new signings.
Yeah, it's attacking, so I think definitely it's going to be interesting to see McAteer. I've not seen a great deal of him. Looks maybe a 4-2-3-1. Am I guessing? I don't know without seeing it, but I think definitely it will be. It's quite tough for Kieran because the Premier League's a Premier League. You're now coming where last year we had a lot less possession. Now you're going to have a lot more possession, so he's going to have to change the sort of the style he wants to play. We saw some great attacking football in the Championship 18 months ago, so let's hope we see more of that.
A lot of the players have actually been away on international duty as well. That is, a good problem to have, isn't it? When you've got good players, they're going to be representing their national team. So I think that will be a factor today with Kieran's starting lineup.
It is a nice problem, but also it brings not such a nice problem in the sense that they have had a relatively sticky start. Like you said, because there's been a lot of turnover of players. He would have loved to have that solid block that we spoke about earlier. So he would have been, again, sat at home watching the various games, hoping and praying they come back at full tilt. Again, we spoke about it earlier, about how much time they may have had off because they need it, but then how much he condenses and sort of heightens the detail into this group. I'm with Scully in the sense that it's very attacking, really, really attacking. You look at the personnel, the exciting personnel that's come into the group, and then the exciting personnel to come into this from the bench. It is, like, again, Scully said earlier, it's a different beast, the Championship to the Premier League. You've conceded an awful lot of possession last season. The emphasis will now be on this group at home, against a decent side, in front of a big crowd, to really take the game to them. But then also striking a balance of, you have to be incredibly sort of, not rigid, but incredibly detailed at the back end of the pitch to nullify any threats that they do carry in their group.
Let's quickly take a look at the bench, because I'm sure Kieran McKenna will at some point call to the bench, and that is an incredible bench. Not much needs to be said other than that, really. There is some big names on that bench.
We've got a £50 million bench, which in the Championship is exceptionally strong. I think the biggest test is the difference this time round is teams are going to come to Portman Road and sit behind the ball, where I don't think they did 18 months ago. Because Ipswich come from League One, I think everybody thought, well, we can take them on, we'll have a go at them, and then later on in the season found that, okay, we've been stung here a little bit. I don't think that's going to happen this year. I think most teams that come here will sit behind the ball. It'll be very interesting to see what Sheffield United, because the manager wants to play football, whether he'll change it and get everyone behind the ball. But so far, the derbies of the world have just come and sat back, and it's hard when teams do that. Whoever you are, it's I watched England Andorra last week, and Andorra just got everyone behind the ball. It's hard to break down.
Yeah, it certainly is. I think actually probably not far of 100 million for that bench. We're going to take a look at Sheffield United's starting lineup just quickly as well, because we are running out of time on the show. There will be a few names that Town fans recognise. Obviously, Tanganga, but Godfrey. I mean, interesting to see him sort of lining up against Town this evening. McGuinness will remember from his time here. Louis Barry as well was an exciting prospect when he was at Town. A few players that will recognise there.
Yeah, I think at this level they're strong. Tanganga from Millwall, I think, has been very, very solid. Skuse mentioned O'Hare as well. I thought he was excellent at, was it Coventry? Did really well. Burrows. Matos as well, they got from Chelsea. So, and if you look at their bench as well, people like Ben Mead, very experienced. So Tafe Chong, they spent money on. Surprised to see where they are.
Yeah, certainly the case. So would you agree on that, Cole?
Very much so. Yeah, very much so. It is surprising, but again, we keep saying that they have gone through an awful lot of change. They've gone through arguably one of the biggest change off the field in terms of losing your manager at the stature that Wilder was. O'Hare's the one for me. I've always liked him. I didn't have the pleasure of playing against him. It was a tough afternoon for myself, but talented boy. He's a talented lad.
We will quickly look at the Sheffield United bench as well, just to tick that box. You mentioned a couple of players there, Scoey, that caught your attention. Yeah,
so Tafe Chong, we've seen, he's played in the Premier League with Luton. Ben Mee as well, very experienced, ex-Burnley as well. Tyrese Campbell. They've certainly got players that can come and change it, whether they're 1-0 up and they need to go a bit more defensive or they need to chase the game, they can flip it. That's I don't think it's the strongest squad, but I look at that and I see them as a playoff squad in this league, and I think they'll be very disappointed of how the season's gone. It's, to not win a game and not get a point is they'll be very disappointed in that. There's a lot of pressure on Sheffield United, I think, tonight as well.
I think you're right. I think there's a lot of pressure on them. Right, let's catch up with one of Ipswich Town's new recruit. Darnell Furlong has been speaking to Town TV's Jacob Henderson.
Darnell, debut coming up. How are you feeling?
Really excited. As a player, you join a new club and there's a lot of things to sort out, get used to in that, but the thing you want to do is just get out there and start playing. So yeah, it'll be nice to do that tonight.
What are your thoughts on tonight's opponents?
A good team, very good team. It doesn't resemble where they'll be at the end of the season, where they are now. So I think we approach the game with caution, as we always will, and go out there and try to do what we can do best. We know we're one of the better teams in this league as well, so yeah, it should be a good game.
I'm sure, regardless of the circumstances, you'd be looking forward to your debut, but Friday night under the lights, that must be one that excites you.
Yeah, definitely. Just excited to get out there on the pitch, the stadium, feel the fans, etc. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to it against a good opposition as well. So yeah.
Finally, some new players, new teammates. You've been last couple of weeks with them. How have you sort of settled into that group?
Yeah, just try to get to know them, get to know how they play, what they do, and their little traits and things like that. And then after that, it's just about me trying to play my game and try and fit into the team. So
good luck, Darnell.
Cheers, thank you.
Darnell Furlong talking to Town TV's Jacob Henderson. You can see Portman Road filling up nicely behind us. We're getting very much closer to kick-off Ipswich Town versus Sheffield United. How do you sort of see this match panning out tonight? Is it going to be a fast and frantic start from Ipswich Town? Might it be a bit of a nervy affair, given that both teams desperately want the win tonight? How do you sort of see this one panning out tonight?
Thank you, Scoey. You'd love to think, off the back of a relatively flat performance against Derby, I think I'm being fair with my analogy on that one. It was flat. It was flat. Again, they've had a good block together. You'd like to think it's a real bright start. That they're the sort of dictators of the tempo. Like Scoey said, it's going to be interesting to see how Sheffield United approach this. They've not got a point. They've started the season with an element of, they would have had a favourites tag attached to them. They need to come here with it and make a little bit of a statement. Whereas if they come here and try and nullify the game and camp up like a lot of clubs do, it could be another frustrating evening. But I'd like to think that they will come with a little bit about them and come and have a little bit of a go. Then Ipswich have got to be the ones that dictate the tempo and take the game to them.
Just glancing over our shoulders as the players come off the pitch now, there's not much you can read really from sat up here in this beautiful studio, but Ipswich players look calm, look relaxed. Sheffield United is still on the pitch in the corner, still practicing right up to the very end. I think, James, as you mentioned too earlier, I think the pressure's really on them tonight, and hopefully that makes for a more fluid and attacking Ipswich Town performance.
Yeah, definitely. I think if the manager, who has done in previous jobs as well, sets his team up to be expansive and open, I think it will play right into our hands. If he doesn't, and he gets a bit nervous and think, right, I'll come here and get a point tonight and get everyone behind the ball and we'll counter-attack, then it could be hard. I don't see. I think the next 5 games for us are big games. I think we need to pick points up and go on a run, and it starts tonight. I think there's nothing to fear at the moment, but I think we need a good start. We need a good first 45 minutes tonight.
The big games coming up starting tonight with Ipswich Town versus Sheffield United. A reminder that Town fans in select regions can still pick up their match passes for £10 to watch from select regions, and then also to anyone with a Town TV account on the Ipswich Town app, you can listen to Glenn Wheeler and to Ian Westlake. We saw Glenn earlier on the show. He'll be bringing you live commentary of this one, Ipswich Town versus Sheffield United. Under the lights. It's Friday night and it's coming up soon. Thank you to everyone who tuned in this evening. Thank you to our digital partners, Fleximize. Ipswich Town versus Sheffield United coming up next.
Just like football, business moves fast. And when you need funding, there's no time to wait. At Fleximize, we keep things simple. No penalties, no red cards, just fast, flexible business loans. We only ask for the essentials and you'll get a decision within 24 hours. Once approved, the funds are in your account the same day. Fleximize, let's fund your goals.
It's a new season, a new challenge, a new home, some new faces, the same support.